see if there's a setting or anything.
So you cannot hear that?
No, I only saw. I didn't hear.
Can you hear me? You can hear me though, right?
Yeah.
Joe, can you hear? Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you.
Why can't I hear you? Can you speak in your mic?
Testing. Testing. 1, 2, 1.
It's very faint.
Testing. Testing. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Yeah, it's like the gain is down or something. What happened?
Testing. 1, 2, 1, 2. Testing. Testing.
Something's not right.
Testing. Testing.
Here, I'm gonna see if you're coming through on YouTube though. Yeah, it's like the gain is down or something. What happened? Yeah, you're not coming through on Skype either. I'm listening to the podcast. So hold on, let me check. See if it's something through Skype.
Testing.
It came through a little bit when you wiggled it or did something.
Test. Test. Testing. Testing. 1, 2. Test. Testing. Test. Test. Testing. Testing. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Yeah, you come through a little bit and then it goes away. Are you using your Mac? Can you check your? No, because it was working fine before. Here, I'm going to do something. I'm going to go back to the home screen. I'm going to see if that makes any difference.
Testing. Testing. 1, 2, 1. Testing. 1, 2. Oh, now can you hear me?
Barely. It's just barely there.
Let me see something.
Technology. Audio. Where's your audio?
Testing. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Okay, Joe. I'm gonna call you right back. Okay, just because I don't know if there's something with the. I'm gonna disconnect from Skype and. How about now?
Testing. Testing.
Yeah, it's I don't know what happened.
Something on my end. Here. I'm looking at my settings right now, and its input volume is like the arrow is moving back and forth at the 0. There's something up with the.
Do you try disconnecting and reconnecting?
Yeah, I did that.
Is it USB?
Forgot what it's called.
Oh, it almost came back. Oh, maybe it went to your laptop's audio. Nothing?
There's something wrong with this.
Right. Okay, there I can. Yeah, it came back.
There's something wrong with this. It keeps pushing.
There. Yeah, it came in. I wonder if it's the connector at both ends. Did you try both ends?
No, the input volume keeps pushing automatically down.
Okay, you're good there.
So if I let it I have to manually take it and push it up, the input volume. Now, if I let it go, it goes all the way to the left. I don't know why. This is weird.
Hmm.
Never had this happen
Shit, it's not, if it's not one thing, it's another.
before. Okay, you can probably hear me now.
Uh, Barely. It's like very faint.
The arrow keeps pushing to the left.
Yeah, you came in there for a couple seconds and then
The input volume is automatic. It keeps moving on its own to the left. You can hear me now, right?
I heard you first. I can barely hear you. It's very faint. I heard you for like a second and then the volume went down again.
Can you hear me now?
It's still down.
I wonder if this mic is conking out.
There it was. Yeah, you came back for a second.
Test, test, testing, testing, testing. 1 2 1 2. Testing, testing, testing.
Yeah, I see your lips moving, but nothing's really coming through. Okay, I can hear you now. Is that your system mic now? That must be your laptop.
It's the camera mic.
Okay. I'm gonna have a bite of my peanut butter.
Test. Oh,
You see something?
test. Testing, testing. 1 2. Testing, testing.
I'm gonna play around with move my stuff around a little bit, so I'll just keep listening. I can't hear you.
I can disconnect. Maybe I'm having technical problems. Test, test, test. Hey, Mark,
Yeah.
I'm going to restart my computer.
Okay. Technical difficulties, folks. As we have on every son of a bitch. I know no one wants to watch me eat, but I gotta eat. Test, 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 test. Are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can. Much better now.
Testing 1 2 1
Yeah,
2.
that's it. Whatever happened.
I think it was just a bug in the computer.
All right, let me see. Let me just make sure it's coming through on YouTube. Are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, there we go. All right, we're
Testing.
live. We're live. It works. Man, it's been there's going to be a time where we'll look back and say, man, we had how many weeks of technical difficulties for a family that believes they're technically savvy. I think we're better as comedians than oh my God. All right, Joe. Well, what? Why don't you welcome us to your show, the first official?
It's not. This is just a beta version.
Everything has a beginning.
The show is brought to you by Marcos Bakery.
Yeah, that's actually my bread that I'm eating right now. JoeSki Bakery 2.0. Oh, that's your reflector? Oh, softbox. Yeah. I can't see it because the blur is on. There we go. And what kind of strobe you got?
Well, I've got my old Canon 430, I think.
Oh, you slide it through there.
And then I've got two. And so it took me a while to figure out. I was hoping to do both off camera. Yeah. And then I finally figured out. I just assumed that the 6D had optical on it. Look, it breaks down into this.
Yeah, pretty small package. You got brackets and.
Why? Thank you.
What about what about your trigger? What are you using for that? Oh
yeah, well that's what I was thinking. So I put both. I took both of them off, and the 600 acts as a trigger. So I'm using. I turned the 600 off because I have to put it on the camera, and I turned it off because obviously you're using off-camera speed light because you want those nice shadows and you don't want the flash going on the camera. So I'm working on it. I'm working on making it all work. But it's off-camera flash that you want, correct?
Yeah, I mean, they say, even if you put a speed light on your camera, sometimes if it's high enough, it's off axis. But so yeah, the further away you go, and then then you can get into creative. I think that's mostly to avoid red eye. But if you want like different effects, like 3-point lighting or 2-point lighting or whatever, then you need to start going further away.
But I think if you just take shots off the camera, I just think it looks a lot better. And then I'm thinking, even outside when it's maybe overcast, having a flash really makes the photo pops. I've been taking a look at, just flashes with soft boxes on the either side, and they're pretty nice pictures. So I'm excited. I'm excited to even take it outside and take it.
Yeah. I think because usually in the sunlight, depending on where, usually there's really harsh shadows. So that little bit of fill. Yeah, because you don't want to blow out the background. Yeah, you want to probably expose to the background and then fill in with the flash. Yeah, you would never think that, but like never shoot into the sun, always be to the back of the sun, but even then you've got like really, it's harsh lighting.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you find a nice like shadowy area and use a flash to fill in and expose to the background, and so this is what camera, the 4D?
Oh, it's a 60.
60. Okay.
I think I bought or you gave me that your old camera.
The 5 one, yeah, 5D.
Yeah, and I think it was like 3 or 4 years ago, maybe even longer than that. And I traded it in for the 6D. 6Ds are known for really low light, really taking good shots in low light. And so I think I had a it's either 430 or 480, and then I got a 600, and so it's got optical. What is it called? And radio, optical triggers and radio triggers. And so if I want to use both, I'd have to get one of those systems that you put on the camera for a radio trigger. And then either do it wireless or do it with cord. But you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I got like a 3-pack. They're both dual like transmitter receivers. You can set one up for like.
You put it on the hot shoe?
Yeah, you put it on the hot shoe, and then if you make sure you're on the same channel, and then and then it triggers the other. I've never tried the optical.
Yeah, I have to do optical.
But
because I don't think the 400 is radio. I think or wireless. I think the 400 is only is optical.
Right, but if you get those triggers, then you can put anything on there.
Yeah, but then that's an added cost.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, next time I'm back in Chicago, I'll drop off my B's and those triggers. You can play with it.
Let me see. Let's see here. Canon wireless trigger. But what's cool is with the channels. I mean, on each channel you can have I think it's up to 15 channels, and then you can create groups, and you can have several flashes on one group and then on another, and you can have them all go off at different settings. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Here, Canon STE, 194 used.
That's a speed light?
Yeah. But then ProMaster and Photics, and I think there are other different.
Yeah, I think I've got a ProMaster.
ProMaster?
Yeah, I think I have one I bought from like Helix?
Yeah, that's what I got. I got this from Helix. I got that the chroma key and this.
There, yeah. So where did you buy it from Helix then?
Yeah, they used to be on Racine in Chicago, and now they moved to Itasca. They sold. This woman owns it now, and it's just a small little building. I was driving the guy nuts.
So the one downtown isn't there anymore?
No, they used to have that huge building.
Yeah, and then they had one in Oakbrook. Is that what you said? Is that one still there?
Did they have one in Oakbrook?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. No, they had that huge building on Racine, and it was like 7 or 8 floors, maybe even more than that. And it was like a toy store, man. Each floor had something different.
I remember going there. Yeah.
And it was like I like walking up and down those stairs. And but now they have just a small little showroom. I guess they do a lot of rental. And I work with companies. I guess they do a lot of rentals, and then they also have a little store as well. And they do. ProMaster is a brand that I guess it's a consortium of photo stores that are part of it. Earth Studio is an animation tool.
Yeah.
Oh, should I hit play?
No. What I was going to do is go to Helix. Can you see the screen?
It's cut off on the bottom. Oh, wait. There we go. Okay, now I can see your... Oh, it's like you're sharing your screen.
Yeah. Can you see it? Fine?
Yeah.
Oh, I got to put in Helix camera. Yeah, actually, it was in Yorktown. That's where that other one was.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Itasca. Wow.
Yeah, so I had to pick up some stuff in Bensonville, and it's in Itasca, and so I just I had an hour to kill, so I went over there. And
just looking to see if they have like an about where their locations are. Contact.
Oh no, they really went. I mean, they
They've scaled
It's just
down.
one place. Yeah, I think it's the blonde woman. I think she's the owner.
Okay.
I think.
So it's a different owner than it was. Is that what you said?
Yeah, the guy said that they sold, and the guy was like a big underwater photographer, and he owned it, and he sold it to her. And here, Madison.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Yeah.
I don't think it's work. Give me. I'll take a look at Max. Sorry about that.
No, that's fine.
Yes, I mean the Speedlight transmitter. I don't think it's. I'll just play around with the optical for now, and see how that goes.
So do you have something in mind? Why did you pick one up right now? You got a project you need it for?
No, I just I got the Epson printer, so I want to do some portraiture, and so I'm still I hold on a second, okay?
Yep.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry.
All right.
Okay, so 2 books. I read this book about 2 years ago.
You gotta go to the right there because the blur
way?
is the blur is on.
Okay,
No, right in front of your face. Yeah, I think
Wait.
that's the best place to put it.
There we go. Okay, so this book, I don't know.
To the right.
This way?
Yeah, did you not see the split screen?
Yeah, I'm working on it right now. There we
Okay,
go.
right there.
Okay.
Speedlight's handbook. Yeah.
Yeah, so I read it, and it was really good. It's a great book. I got to reread it a little bit, just to refresh. It's just, and so I'm really excited. And I have those. I've got like 5 or 6 stands. I gave you a few of those with the rollers.
Yeah.
And one of them is a 5/8, and the rest of them are 1/4 inches. So I had to get an adapter, and for the bracket, and but it's pretty cool. It's they're really, really nice stands. I'm guessing that there's several $1,000s worth of stands.
Yeah.
When you first bought them, but man, they're really nice. And then the other book is this. I think you may have told me about it.
To the right or your left. Your left. Yeah, right there. Digital print. Yeah, I think I have that one. Yep, I do.
So I'm gonna catch up on this, and it's pretty interesting. Do you color match your photographs? Have you used the X-Rite?
I do. I don't know if I have. I've got the monkey, the color monkey. So I don't think that's an X-Rite product, but it does. So it's a. You can use it for calibrating monitors, but I can also calibrate the ICC profile. So I can print out a patches.
Yeah.
It's not like the 200 patches. It's something like 20 patches or 40 patches.
Oh, yeah. They were saying that you need to do like even into the thousands or something.
Yeah, if you want super. I mean, for what I did, it was good enough because I did have some problems with old ink. So you can just run some patches and do a color profile, and then you have to do it, periodically. So the same thing when you buy non-OEM inks. I think it's a good idea, even though they say like that Vermont Inkjet company or Inkjet Mall, they say they're equivalent to in terms of color matching. All the ICC profiles will work, but I think still a good idea to just run it because I like different papers and yeah.
Do you have any issues, or will Canon? Do you void your warranty, or
Epson?
Does Canon, or I'm sorry, Epson? Does Epson say it's okay to use non-OEM?
Well, I don't know. All my printers are out of warranty right now, but I like the Epson 3880. I still use OEM inks, but the large Epson, the one I bought from Andy, a 44-inch one, it's those ink cartridges are pretty expensive, so I I decided to just buy aftermarket. But I did do my research, and I do think that inkjet Mall makes good inks, and they're pretty equivalent.
Have you tested them for color matching?
Well, they printed out just fine. Mixed their inks with OEM inks.
Oh, you mixed?
Well, I mean, not mixed a single color, but I've had like some, if one color, like a magenta, goes out, I replace it with the inkjet Mall ink, and still had OEM inks in the other cartridge, the other slots, like the black and the cyan and whatever. So in that sense, eventually I'll go through all the OEM inks and just be using inkjet Mall on that printer.
Which one is that? Which printer?
It's the 9800, I believe. 9800. It's an old printer, but yeah, it's nice to have. So you're just trying to get into digital printing, so you want to do some nice shots and start printing more stuff out,
but and also eventually start selling the prints as well. I mean, and to go even as far as framing them and getting some non-acidic or acid glass. There's a place in Chicago that you can get glass, like non-glare. But
I bought some Archival glass that I should send you a link. It's pretty expensive, but I think for like in terms of transmissibility and like it's still like very it allows the light, except for the UV. I mean, it cuts off the UV, but it's intended to be for long term.
Oh, it cuts off the UV?
Well, it cuts off UV, and then it has some other properties to prevent, prints from aging, but it's still without losing, having a color cast or anything like that in front of the print.
Is it my understanding that some of the glass have some type of chemical or something on it that causes it to age? Or is it just transmissibility of the glass?
I think they all put something in there. Depends on what the application is, but if it's for picture frames, I think some of them do like maybe shortwave UV, but maybe.
What about the actual material touching? I guess if you have a mat, it's not touching, but.
No, I mean I don't know. I mean I don't know what the glass making process is, and I usually clean my glass beforehand anyway. And get all the what do you call it? It's not the smoke, but it's got like some kind of film on it. Usually,
gassing.
Yeah, it's outgassing usually from like papers and stuff. I don't think there's outgassing from there unless they put plastics in there. But usually, like papers and plastics will all have chemicals, plasticizers, or things that will outgas. But I don't think glass, unless it's a laminate, I don't think it outgasses. But I could be wrong on that. Because laminate has a film in between two sheets of glass.
The that ink ball jet or the inkjet Mall ink. What about the permanency of that ink? Have you looked into that?
I did. They have things published. I don't know if they have like the Wilhelm numbers, but they do use. I think the other person, McCormick,
the guy that used to work.
Yeah, Mark McCormick or Andy McCormick or something like that. I can't remember his name, but. Yeah, they do have some permanence numbers on those their inks.
But that's something that you look into before you purchase, correct?
Yeah, I was looking at different companies, and so I bought their Pisography inks. They're black and the different shades of black and gray, and I like them. And then I know that they've got the Pisography site, and then they're the same company that owns Inkjet Mall. So yeah, I trust them as a good supplier of ink.
Wait, so
or a supplier of good ink.
It's the Vermont?
Same. It's the same company. Yeah, Vermont owns I think Pisography.com,
and Ink Mall
and Inkjet Mall. Yeah, it's the same company. Yeah.
So why wouldn't they just have it under one brand? I lost your video.
Shit. Yeah, I think my battery. This is the problem. I'm gonna put my other. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't. So they have 3 different brands. I'm surprised that they just wouldn't put everything under Vermont.
Well, I think they're trying to target different types of customers, so they probably don't want to confuse people. I don't think. Yeah, I think at first I didn't realize they were different companies, and then eventually realized they were, and that helped their case because I'm not sure. if it's
different
coming,
price points, same product, or different product like quality.
it's a cheaper ink than the OEM. Is that what you mean, or?
Yeah, I mean, are you paying? It's a like a commodity. Are you paying less for a cheaper and more for a higher end? Or?
No, from them. No, I mean, I think they're, OEMs usually have that's how they make their money is on consumables.
No, I'm sorry. I meant like Vermont. I mean, if you buy Vermont and you know that it's good permanence and it's high quality, and then if you go to Inkjet Mall, then it's a lower quality, or
No, Vermont. I think Vermont is the parent company. I'd have to look. I haven't been on their site for a while, but I think Vermont is like the parent company. They might offer. That might be the company that offers like consulting and training classes.
Oh, but they don't sell the ink.
I think under the Inkjet Mall ink, they sell the colored ink for different. I think mostly Epson, but they might do other ones. They also sell then Pisography under the Pisography name, but Pisography might just be their website. It still might be Inkjet Mall. Here, let me just.
And then also the paper. I think they also sell paper, correct?
They do, and I bought some of their Cone, the John Cone paper. I bought some of that.
And you used to buy the Japanese paper, right?
I'd still have it, like the rice. Rice. Yeah, I still have some, but I haven't. I've only used it a few times. The one behind me, this photo here is. Here, let me. This one here is the
rice paper.
It's the rice paper, and if you look at it very closely, you can see you can see like the pulp.
I can't see it, but
yeah, it's textured, and yeah, it's got a nice. Yeah, when you look at it, because the matte paper is, it's paper, and then you look at the texture of the print, you have some texture there, so I think it matches really. It looks pretty nice, but I don't know what Fitzpatrick would think if he saw this. I'm stealing his art.
Well, you reproduced it, but
yeah. So when you
doesn't say anything.
So when you do sell prints, you do have to mark them like 1 of 10 or 1 of 20, so they're a limited edition.
You have to?
You don't have to, but I think that puts more value on it. People are like, oh, I've got, I mean, if you've got a limited release, then I think that puts some type of value that not everybody has one. And you have, you should really adhere to that, though. Not just mark 1 to 50, and then all the ones after 50 you just sell.
Did you put it on that? Did you put it on that paper because you wanted it to recreate it and as close as possible to the original?
No. I was just looking for. I'm trying to remember what paper it was on. It was like I think like on sketch paper or something. I can't remember actually, but no, I just wanted to have something with some texture, and I think I printed some out on matte, like a really heavily cotton-based paper that had a lot of texture to it. But I don't know. I think it didn't come or print out as nice as this paper.
Oh, it didn't?
No. So I think in the end, I just chose one over the other.
Have you used any signature-worthy Epson paper?
I have, yeah.
And do they make it themselves, or they just get a company to make it?
Epson?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a good question. I thought I wouldn't be surprised if they have different paper suppliers, but like Apple, they hire a company to make their iPhones, Foxconn or whatever.
Well, no, I know, but I'm just wondering if I mean, what if it turns out that Epson Signature Worthy is the same company as Vermont? What if?
I don't know. I guess you can probably have the paper independently tested, because they probably have a spec sheet on it. But yeah, I mean that would be dangerous, because once that gets out, then they're going to lose that market. So I don't know, but anything's possible.
At the shop, the print shop, Martin has a Ricoh machine, and it's got this sensor. It's not very accurate, But you put the paper in there, it tells you what kind of paper it is.
Oh, really? Oh, you probably can calibrate that so you show it probably does like a surface check or something. And no, that's interesting.
It'll tell you if it's
which is nice. Yeah, it prevents idiots from making mistakes.
So on your web browser, type in Sekonic 700.
Sekonic?
Yeah, Sekonic.
Oh yeah, they make the light meters, right?
Yeah, but do 700 or 800, 700 or 800.
Okay, can you see my?
Yeah, I see it. So the 700R, or not the 700R, but maybe this. Yeah, I guess the 700R is that's the light meter, not that one.
Oh.
Those are ISOs and
this one here, Spectrum Master.
So this shows you actual spectrum of light. This is on my wish list. So this is pretty cool. I don't know how accurate it is.
Only $850.
But this is cool because you can go to any light source, like outside or, but once again, I don't know how accurate it is. I guess let's say you wanted to take a photo outside at night and you had a street lamp. You can measure that and it'll tell you the spectrum of that light.
It's like a photometer or something. But I think they must be pretty accurate because cameras, they do auto white balance, so they have a way of detecting what the color temperature is. So I think I'm pretty sure it's pretty accurate. But yeah, I don't know. What would you use it for then? Just for because you can do a lot of stuff in post. You're just trying to get the cleanest picture up front. Because you can use a gray card and a white card to balance your do a custom white balance under different conditions. It takes more time, but maybe this is a little faster though.
Yeah, I guess you're right. That's a good point. It's just interesting to see all the different light sources. I guess,
when I worked at a company Atlas, that's exactly what they do or did. They took measure like spectrum measurements and of their light sources. Yeah, because they had to maintain certain quality. If you had a xenon bulb or a carbon arc bulb, and you had glass filters, you have to make sure that it produces a spectrum that you're saying it should. What
device did they use?
I think it's just, I don't remember the brand, but it's like a spectrophotometer. So I think it's pretty similar to, and that was decades ago. So now I'm sure the technology's come. So they used to control the light, like the output of light, because the light, when you had it on, you're using that light to degrade material. It's acting as like a light source, like the sunlight. And so you're trying to fade and degrade materials inside this chamber. So over time, that bulb would decrease in output, and then the spectrum would shift a little bit. So they typically would measure at one wavelength. You can measure like at 340, 420. You could also measure like between 300 and 400. So they had like 2 or 3 different methods for measuring the light, but they never really knew.
How often would they measure it?
Well, it would be continuous. So inside the machine, it would say what's the irradiance at 340 nanometers. So if you had a test that's at 0.55 watts per meter square at 340 nanometers, the system's controls would adjust the output of the bulb to make sure it had that number at that wavelength that you were measuring at. But you never knew for sure 100% what was going on below that wavelength and above that wavelength. So you typically knew what the like a bulb as it aged, you would start increasing infrared energy over time because you're pumping more current into it to compensate for the degradation. But I think at this point they've got actual full spectrophotometers built in, so it's doing a full spectrum measurement, so the whole spectrum at any given point, because I think the technology is advanced enough where you can do that. But I left in 2005, so when I left it was still, they were doing single either one wavelength or a band, but not the full spectrum.
That sounds really complicated, but it's interesting. You're saying that the wavelength would change because of the degradation. And
No,
then,
the wavelength. Well, okay, the wavelength that you're measuring at as the bulb degrades it'll start dropping. But you have a closed loop system, so the electronics would detect, hey, the bulb is aging, and it might be 100 hours or 10, 50 hours, depends on what level you're running at. But as you're running it begins to decrease. And if you didn't have a way to automatic, I mean, you can manually do it. Like probably 50 years ago, had somebody tweaking a knob, said, oh, the radiance is now 5.4, not 5.5. Adjust the output, increase the wattage to the bulb. So they had a closed loop system that would do it automatically. Eventually, the bulb would break, or it would not be able to maintain that level anymore, and so you'd have to replace it. But the whole point is that there's things going on in different parts. So you're only looking at one wavelength, and what's going on below that wavelength and above that wavelength could be shifting, could be changing. And they know it is. Like I mentioned, the infrared spectrum above that wavelength, but they're not monitoring it. They just know that over time, because they've done they do studies to see what the performance of a bulb is over. They'll take it at brand new one at 50 hours, 100 hours, 500 hours, 1,000 hours, 2,000 hours, and kind of characterize it. Not every bulb's exactly the same, but it's pretty close. But if something were to go awry, or if you're trying to figure out, like if you had a problem with something you tested, sent it out, and then it came back and it didn't perform as you expected it, then you got to go back and figure out why. So I think people wanted to have the full spectrum information to be able to go back and say, wow, yeah, actually this thing at 800 nanometers was doing something much different. But again, normally it's in the UV where most it's the shorter wavelength. So I would say probably you're more concerned what's happening in let's say 280 to 450, something like that.
But so it's all, so the wavelength, and as well as you said, the radiance is measured in lux or luminance.
Well, lux is a visible spectrum, and a radiance is so you have so many lux that would be represent what the visible spectrum is between let's say, is it 400 to 500?
That's actually light.
600?
That's like white light.
Yeah, 400
right?
to 800 or something like that. So 300 to 400 is where the UV is, most of the UV. So normally, if you're looking across any wavelength, because you can have a lux number and a radiance number, and it could mean the same thing if you define the range that you're measuring it. But
does it measure the intensity? The intensity.
Yeah, lux is like an intensity, amplitude, and a radiance is an amplitude, and so it's watts per meter square.
It's kind of like I was talking to John about frequency response, and he brought out, what did he say? I'm trying to remember. He says that at a certain point, I forgot the term that he used, the frequency response was this, but it changed. It'll come to me. I can't remember what he said.
What was it about, an audio file or something?
Yeah, about like headphones. And he said, I said it's 2020, or it might be 18 to 24. And he says, well, what about, I'm trying to remember what he said. It kind of reminds me of what you said. Like, okay, you can have a frequency response. Here, let's see.
Yeah, I mean, like headphones and speakers all have a frequency response. So you could be pumping in frequencies that it can't respond to, so yeah, or how well it responds to, or like replicates a frequency response. I think, I don't know, that might be I might be thinking something different, but
here, let's see, frequency response. Maybe you can get John on the phone. You want to try getting him on the phone?
I'll let you, because I don't know, he wants to talk to me. No, I'm joking.
Why?
No, I'm joking. I don't know. No. I just, no, remember I tried calling him that one time, and I mentioned to you, and you called him, and he answered for you, but he didn't answer my call. But no, if you want to get him on the phone, do it. You probably should let him know he's on our live stream though.
You see, can you do it if
Um,
on Skype,
I
or
think
how
so.
would I do it?
Yeah, I think in Skype you would add a person, add to call. Yeah, what's his number?
Well, do you want me? I'm texting him now, or do you
Oh
want to
yeah.
just go ahead and
Oh
call
no,
him?
that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, I can call him from. I can call him from here. I think I initiated the call, so I need to add a person.
Okay, let's see what he says.
He's going to want you to explain what are you doing?
Let's see here.
By the way, I wanted to show you. Do you see the screen?
Oh, wait 1 second. Yeah.
Oh, hold on.
I'm getting dizzy.
I got this remote camera, so I can. I might.
Wait a second. I thought you had like a whole studio of people.
Yeah. No, there's nobody here but that camera right now.
He says, I don't want to be on a podcast at this time.
Tom will change the frequency of his voice, so
Where are all the people?
they're virtual. They're out in YouTube land.
I'm texting him. What was...
I'm gonna change my camera battery while you're doing. Can't you just call him and then talk to him, get your answer, and then get off the phone?
Yeah, I guess. Oh, okay. I think I remember. Is it a flat frequency response?
Oh, okay.
I think it was something about flat frequency response that was it true? Yeah, it's like I've got these concepts in my head and I just have to reconcile them. Let's see here. What is flat frequency? Okay, so frequency response is a measurement of a device's magnitude and phase output. A flat response may not necessarily sound good to all people depending on the situation. It's very subjective. Let's see here.
So what was he saying for good headphones that you should have a flat response?
I'm trying to remember. It's like here, let me see 1 second. And I wonder if you can use that same concept for light. Frequency is a range-based measurement.
Dad.
Yeah. The flatter the response, the more pure the audio. A flat frequency response is important in devices such as loudspeakers, monitors, and microphones when audio accuracy is desired. At any rate, a flat response can be used as a good starting or reference point to dial in your preferred sound. So, I guess phase is also important and overlooked. I wonder if it has something to do with the magnitude. But anyway,
oh, we got a question, or no? We got a comment come through.
You just commented yourself?
Why not?
I like the goggles. That's pretty good.
Did you
do that in Photoshop?
Yeah, they're lenses, 2 camera lenses.
Yeah.
Questions are coming in. Are you ready? All right. Well, we better get started with this. So, what do you want to talk about today?
What are you talking about? I actually have to end soon. Go for a run and then have lunch.
Okay. Yeah, we're right at 103 right now.
Oh. Frequency is flat frequency response. Good. No, I mean, we talked about a little bit about what did we talk about? Is this like a Seinfeld episode?
No, I think you wanted to talk about the strobe. We covered that a little bit.
Yeah, and I need to do a little bit more research on what you talked about, the light, and still, I'm just curious. It's like harmonics. A sine wave is a pure wave, but with harmonics, anyone's voice, it's not a pure tone. You have a little bit higher and lower. It's like a concept that I didn't understand until just recently. Like if you're hitting a B, it's not a pure tone, or a C or whatever. Sine wave is a pure tone, correct?
Yeah.
You have
a
little bit above and a little bit below, correct?
Well, I think sine wave is usually means it has you're at a frequency, whereas a harmonic or your voice has more than a single frequency. Like if you were to play like a pure B tone, a pure B tone is several frequencies. Yeah, but I think there's a primary and then there's the harmonics of that primary. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a harmonic.
Yeah.
You're hearing but a sine wave is just one tone.
Yeah.
There are no harmonics in a sine wave, correct? Yeah. With a sine wave, you can have different wavelengths, correct?
Yeah, a sine wave would usually be at one frequency.
Wait. So it has to be one Yeah, but it's at one frequency that you create. But it could be at different. It could be at a lower frequency or a higher frequency.
Any frequency. But it means that you've got,
as long as it stays,
you got 100 cycles per second, or you got 2,000 cycles per second. Yeah.
But it's a pure tone, no harmonics.
Right. There's a sine wave. There's a square wave. There's triangular. So each one of those will be at a single frequency. I don't know that a sine wave, like a 100 hertz sine wave and a 100 hertz square wave, will sound different. Because you're really the shape of the wave form and the amplitude will be how loud it is. But yeah, no, I think I remember listening to different waveforms and they had a slightly different sound, but they were still at the same frequency. You can go. I mean, there's lots of apps out there. You can check it out.
But I mean, I guess I think the term is timbre. That's why each instrument has its own, because of that.
Mm-hmm.
Like a cello or a violin or what have you. That's what each instrument has its own characteristic.
Mm-hmm. Usually, yeah, it'll be multiple frequencies. Music is many frequencies. You're looking across a frequency range, and then there's probably different tones and different harmonics. Yeah, I'm not by any means an expert on it. That's my way out of this.
No, that's interesting. I think some people would say, and you're in the business, that some people say existentialists that the only thing about life is death and then or philosophy or economics. Life is all about economics. Like, what's the first thing that you have to reconcile as a human being on this earth? And some people say that it's all about vibrations.
Mm.
Like there's this whole science behind vibrations. I don't know. Have you heard of that? Like,
it's funny. I just saw some movie or documentary where a guy was talking about vibrations. Like, I've heard that before. I never really looked into whatever.
You think it's
whatever that discipline
you think it's
is.
hokey?
I don't know. I can't say anything is wrong. 100%. I may believe or not believe in it, and like Om, and I know a lot of Thai people believe in ghosts.
Oh yeah,
yeah, and
but
I'm like, I don't. Yeah, sorry, I don't believe in that. But I mean, if they believe, I'm not going to say they're wrong. I don't know 100% that they're wrong. Maybe they have seen. Just because I haven't seen it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. So yeah.
But ghosts. Like, are they like in some purgatory where they haven't moved on to the afterlife or into a different, like Hinduism is you get reincarnated.
Buddhism's the same thing. Yeah.
You get reincarnated?
Yeah.
So what's a ghost? That means that you haven't gone to the other life?
It might be, or you're communicating. Yeah, maybe you haven't made the transformation yet. Good question. I'm going to ask him.
Well, get her on. Let's ask her.
I will ask. Yeah, she's not feeling that great, so
But anyway, I guess some people feel that it's all about vibrations. That some people have good vibrations and bad vibrations, and
well, if
interesting.
That's true, then you can measure it, and if you can measure it, then okay, then there's a way to prove it.
I think Oros has a new revenue stream.
Yeah, a new market going after supernatural or.
You could. It's a device that tells you if you've got good vibrations or not.
Here, let me see.
Just type in science of vibrations.
I think it might be too broad, don't know. Science of happiness, vibration healing, vibrational energy.
Yeah.
Periodic. Okay, we know that. Elastic body, physical system place equilibrium. Yeah. How do
The hippies were right. It's all about vibrations. I guess that's what the Beach Boys sung.
Good vibrations. The heart resonance frequency is about 1 hertz.
Wow. Okay, type in
Yeah,
this.
so I mean, if your heart is beating and there's blood pumping through your, so there's going to be that vibration. But I thought they were talking about high frequency vibration.
Type in this in the Google search bar. Tell me if you've seen this movie. Koyan. Oh, there. Go down to Koyaanisqatsi. Have you seen this? Go up.
Oh, that?
Yeah.
No. Oh, 1982.
And then I think that was the first one. And then the sequel was Powakatsi. Music composed by Philip Glass.
Genie,
Can you hear that?
No, I don't have the sound.
System audio is not muted. Why can't you hear it?
There is a way.
Around the world,
You don't hear that?
called it a
No.
remarkable film event.
Hold on one second.
Experience, a
To hear your-
fusion of image.
Hold on, let
Digital
me.
compact disc and CD player represented an enormous advance over the long plane.
Sound.
Oh, I've heard this chant before. I may have seen parts of this. I do remember this. Yeah, I don't think I saw the whole thing, but
And then there's I think the sequel was Powakatsi.
yeah, and they went through some oil. Yeah, they go through like nature and like human destruction, and I think I think I've seen this. Nakwatsi.
What?
There's another one over here.
Oh, Nakoyatsi. But then there's also Powakatsi.
Okay. Interesting.
So let's start coming up with some topics to discuss. These are going to be educational videos
Okay.
for the masses, and we are tasked with having 100 subscribers in 2 months.
Okay, we can do that. We're just gonna have to start advertising.
Create the content, and they will come.
Okay, but oh, you don't want to pay for it then, because there's a way to just pay for it.
Well, come on, man! I want you to start getting paid for these YouTube.
All right. Well,
no, but yeah, let's. I'm gonna play around with my soft boxes, and I'll have a full report.
okay. Hey, another comment came through.
Hey, y'all!
Well, I mean, that's the thing we talked about. Like, do we want to, like pick like camera gear reviews, stuff like that? I mean, initially we said let's just throw out a bunch of just talk about anything and see what clicks. But yeah, I'm fine with just if you want to pick camera gear or tech gear, because I have some reviews I want to do of like the Ring camera, and like I had a problem reconnecting with the Ring camera here at home. When I changed my Wi-Fi password, so it was a real pain in the ass. I just wanted to do a review of that and share like how to get around it, how to deal with stuff like that. So I don't know if you want to say like all like it's like home technology or what people might deal with. But I mean, if we do like gear reviews, then we can only do really what we have and speculate on what we see maybe coming out. But I'm okay with that if you want to pick that, and and
How about
focus on it.
we come up with a topic, let's say nature or trees, and then you take a couple photographs, and then we talk about what ISO we used, or did we use bokeh, and just we show like 3 or 4 different versions, and we have to explain, how do we frame it, and what ISO did we use, and
Sure. Can I use any of the photos in my library?
No, you got to go out. You got to go out.
Oh,
actually, yeah. I mean,
why
I guess
not?
you can.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I got a ton of photos.
that's
I
fair.
wouldn't mind doing that, critiquing, and it could be also the technical side, but also the creative side too.
Yeah, like that. Did you ever pick up that Peterson book about what is it called?
Your short-term memory is going to hell, man.
I know.
So is mine. I'm laughing about it because I'm the same way. Because I usually have like 100 things in my head, and I'm like, okay, I got to do this, but then I'm still thinking about something else, and I'm like, oh shit, I forgot about.
I mean, fortunately, I haven't forgotten, and I can just got just stupid data in my head. I haven't forgotten, like I used to forget stuff on the car and drive away.
Yeah, I sometimes go through short spurts of that where like, where's my wallet? But for the most part, I'm like, wallet, keys, passport, everything else I really don't care about.
Oh yeah,
when you're traveling.
Brian Peterson's Understanding Composition. That's good. Did you ever pick up that book?
Brian Peterson's?
Yeah, with a Y. Understanding Composition.
Yeah, I actually have a few books. Wouldn't mind bringing those over to say what Understanding Exposure?
Well, he's written different, but I'm referring to composition. So,
composition.
Like you said, we can talk about composition, the creative, and we can also talk about, what's interesting is that, sometimes I'll watch a video, and at the very end, here, John's texting me.
Yeah, no, I don't have this guy's book. I see
so he's got some interesting. I think I have one of his books. But you can be a master at photography and getting the right light. But then composition's the whole other part. It's like you may have the perfect photo, but it may not be interesting, or the composition.
Well, if it's interesting to you, then that's all that really matters, because you do have like the rule of thirds, and then then you got converging lines. There's all these principles which are great. I think great to understand. But man, if you're limited to that, then you'll never find new ways or to look at things. So I worry about that too. It's like, oh, I got to do this. I got to follow the rules of rule of thirds, and so I like looking at people's photos and then trying to understand why I like them, breaking it down. And so maybe that'll be part of our thing is we pick 1 or 2 photos that we made, and then 1 or 2 photos that we like from other photographers, and maybe we can critique it a little bit.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'd love to do that. And then also sometimes you have photographers that do stuff subconsciously, and that's like after looking at it, they say, "Wow, I didn't realize that." Sometimes it's amazing how when you have a photographer that looks at a photo and they realize, wow, I didn't really mean that, but it's sometimes you do try to frame photos in a certain way, and sometimes things happen. I like that. That's pretty interesting when you naturally do something that's like a subconscious, whether it's on the edge. And I mean, photos with the main, what's the word? Object in the very center, sometimes that can be boring. Sometimes just putting it off to the side is interesting. But yeah, let's do that. Let's we'll text some topics, and then
Okay. Well, if we do
next
that,
Saturday.
yeah. Okay. If you wanna focus on that one, and you can send me your photos during the week, and then I'll have them ready and I'll put them up when we're ready to talk about it.
Okay,
Unless
so
you
you'll
want to.
Okay.
Oh no, but yeah. Why don't we just throw out some other topics? I think, yeah, maybe we'll come up with different things every week, and then see what we really like talking about, and then start narrowing down the scope.
Yeah, that's
after we've
fine.
done different topics.
Yeah. So yeah, just shoot me an email, or a text to confirm, and then I'll go out, take some photographs, or send you whatever I have, and we'll do it.
Do it. Okay, sounds
Just
good.
do it.
All right, you going for a run then?
Yeah, I either 3.5 mile loop or a 6.5 mile loop. See how I feel. It's a beautiful day today, so
You don't have
usually
you don't have allergies during this time,
so far so good.
but you never had them though.
Oh,
Growing up, I can't
no,
remember.
it's man. I haven't had any issues so far today, and I think they say that yogurt or bacteria helps, and so I take it 2 or 3 times a week with some kombucha. So hopefully, I don't know, maybe that's what's helping, or maybe it's just been cold and it hasn't hit me. But yeah, I probably not as bad as you and Tat, but I get allergies.
Oh, you do? Okay. Yeah, I just don't remember you like I can't remember who had it and who didn't. But
Yeah, but fortunately, I haven't had any issues yet this season. How about you?
a little bit. This week was the first time. I think there was some warm days where I started feeling it, but like today I feel a little bit, but I'm trying to avoid going out. And I really want to ride my bike because it has been nice, but I got to be careful because if that wind gets in my face, all that pollen will. Yeah,
You can't wear a full mask like a shoey.
I do, but it still gets through. I mean, I got vents in there and stuff, but it's worse if it's blowing right on my face. And I can take medicine, but I try to avoid doing that if I can.
Okay, go ahead.
No, I was just going to Zyrtec works, but it makes you super drowsy and weird. It just puts you in a weird spot. Yeah. It's really,
Officer,
really
I had so much
lethargic. It's
Zyrtec.
like, just like, okay, I don't want to talk to anybody. And
Oh yeah. So can you narrow it down? Have you figured out if it's a certain type of pollen or something, or tree pollen, or
I think it's tree grass, a little bit of I mean, like if I just even working and like cleaning up the brushes and stuff like that, it'll just kick up stuff. I mean, you usually see it like right about this time or coming soon is there'll be a light film, a green pollen on the cars and on things. I don't know if you noticed that, like on glass and stuff. So
yeah, I've seen that.
I think that's coming from trees. So,
but the reason I ask is that because they report like pollen counts. Can you go online and take a look and see if
I got subscribed, so I get a email every day about what the conditions will be.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it tells you like it's going to be low, middle, high, medium, and what types of allergy, like what type of pollen is active. So, yeah, I mean it's not as bad as in previous years or when I was growing up, but still I gotta avoid doing certain things because I could be miserable.
When Madison was a baby, she she would have skin allergies, and we took her to the dermatologist, and on her back there were like 20 different pricks, and then whichever one had a reaction, that would tell you what she was allergic to. It was pretty interesting.
What is she allergic to?
I can't remember. I go back, but now, I mean, she's got sensitive skin.
Were those food allergies or like pollen?
I think they were environmental allergies.
Oh, like dust and pollen and stuff.
Wait,
like that.
hold on a sec. What was that? Trees and grass. Michelle said trees and grass.
So
let me see if there's some. What was that?
No. So how does she feel during this time then? Because this is the time for tree and grass.
She's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, no issue so far. But Yeah, I mean, her skin would break out sometimes.
Huh.
Okay, so we'll confirm topics, and I'll take some photographs, and we'll critique them.
Very good. All right, episode 1 is finally come and concluded.
I was hoping that it would
Arrived
just
and
be a
concluded.
beta, but
No, I think we did that first beta. That was not published, so this is going to be pretty raw. But at least we got this finished.
hey, thanks for doing this, and hopefully my sound card isn't going out.
Well, oh, yeah, interesting. Yeah, what Mac are you using?
It's 2012, I think.
A laptop, then.
Oh no, it's a desk. It's a computer.
Oh, a G5 or something.
No, it's a 3.2 gigahertz quad core Intel Xeon.
Okay.
32 gigabytes of memory.
It's the silver like box, right?
Yeah, Mac Pro mid 2010.
Okay.
I think like 7 or 8 years ago, Fry's had it, and it was open box, and they gave me the wrong cord, and I had an issue with my graphics card, and I took it in, and they said you got the wrong cord, and they fixed it for free.
Huh. Oh, because the graphics card was blown or something?
Yeah, and then I had the same problem, and I took it back, and I told them, I can't afford it. I'm not going to swap out the graphics card. And they put it in just to test it, and
Yeah.
I guess they didn't want to take it out, so they just kept it in there. So
Yeah, the cord doesn't make sense because that goes to a power supply, and then something comes out of the power supply. So I don't see unless it.
No, they're. I think it's either like a. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. It's either a square or a circle, and I think it was a circle on a square or a rectangle. I don't know the part that you put into the computer.
Yeah, so it shouldn't have mated then if it wasn't.
It reached in there far enough.
So
where
it was like
given
intermittent
power.
then.
Yeah. So maybe it wasn't a graphics card the first time. I think it was a power supply, and they swapped out the power supply.
Okay. Wow, so you have a newer one than I do because I was, I used to do all my video editing on that other Mac Pro.
What year was that?
I think it's 2006 or 7. I have to take a look.
Yeah, this one's 2010.
Yeah, so it's and the other one's working fine. You just can't use like the newer operating systems and a newer version of Final Cut. So Final Cut, they've improved like the software rendering quite a bit, so I can't take advantage of it with that older computer. So I tend to do all my editing on this laptop now because it can use the latest and greatest and take advantage of software rendering.
What year is the laptop?
2019.
Oh, is it with the butterfly or the new keyboard?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that other keyboard drove me nuts. It was so clacky.
So it's a new one.
Yeah, it's a newer one, but it's not like I think they've got newer ones now.
So, what's that guy's name? I sent you the link.
I lost you. Oh, okay, you're back.
Oh, what was that?
Yeah, I lost you there for a second.
Can you hear me?
I can, yes.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Here. Yeah, I thought hopefully there's something not going on with a USB. Oh, Digilloid. That's the guy's name. You should check out his site and see what he says about it.
Digilloid.
Mac Performance Guide. I think it's called Mac Performance Guide.
So he does reviews or something on?
Yeah, I sent this to you before, but yeah, he said that one of those new laptops, he says, is like the best one ever made. He says that it's like better than a desktop, but you should see what he has to say about that one.
Mac
but
Performance Guy, is that what you said?
Guide. Yeah.
Digilloid. Okay, I got it. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It sometimes I'll use Photoshop, and it's like I want to export a photo to JPEG, and when it's switching this, like trying to get to that interface, sometimes it takes like 2-3 seconds. I'm like, I thought on my last one it was faster, so I don't know. Sometimes I wonder like why. Like I don't know if I like this thing has 2 graphics cards. I don't know if I should be switching, allow for automatic switching, or should I just go to the higher end one all the time? It uses more battery, but I've got lots of memory and a lot of hard drive space. I don't know. It drives me nuts sometimes.
Well, you should see what this guy says, this Digitaloid, see what he says about
performance. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so I mean, it's great if you read about what they're doing, but I'm just kind of going off my personal. I wish I had the other one to compare it to because I used it as a trade-in. But I wish I had it so I can do a side-by-side comparison because it just seemed like I thought this thing was going to be a lot peppier than it is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk about that next week.
You trying to get it off or?
No.
No, that's fine. I know you got to go. We're at 1.5 hours right now. We want to probably try to keep this to an hour if we can. We don't have to, but yeah, whatever.
Okay. I will text me the topic. Or
okay. Yeah, like the title or the live stream feed.
No. The like you may already have photographs, so I need to go out and like you might say, okay, photograph outside or do a shot with external flash.
Okay.
Wait, I lost you.
Yeah, hold on. Sorry, my So I have to replace batteries on the other camera, so I got to go back to my laptop.
But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like a theme for.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, theme.
Yeah.
Theme. Yeah, so send me the theme and then I'll go and take some photographs and then I'll talk about the different. What were you thinking?
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'll try to do the same too, just so I start from a fresh perspective, but.
No, you can pull from your library. Speaking of library, sorry, I'm thinking at some point in time I want to go in and I want to put all of my photos through Adobe Bridge. What do you use? Do you use something? Or do you just...
Lightroom. So
everything is categorized and tagged in Lightroom.
Yeah, but it is unorganized. I need to really go through because every year I was doing it slightly differently. But now I'm like doing every year I create a library for each year, and then I put folders in by year and month, and then within that folder then is the photos. Also has a year and month in the description. So like if I'm in 2020-05, I'll put like Allendale photos or food photos. So I won't put the specific day; it'll just be in the same month, and then I have a library. That's not good either. I don't think that's a great way because sometimes I'm like, oh, shit, I remember I had a photo from 4 years ago. I'm like, where is that photo? And I got to open up each library separately. But if you have too much in one library, it can get it can bog down.
So is Lightroom still? Are they still servicing? Did they stop Lightroom or was it Photos? I thought Apple stopped making one of their photo apps.
They stopped making Aperture, and then they changed their iPhoto to I think Photos now. So yeah, it used to be I think iPhoto, and it's now Photos, and so that's like synced up with my iPhone. I don't really put anything else in there other than iPhone pictures and videos. But my Lightroom, they have Lightroom Classic, which is what I like to use, and then they've got Lightroom, which is like the current one, which is it's online based. So
what's the difference between Lightroom and Aperture?
I think they're pretty much the same. One's an Apple product, one's an Adobe product, but they were both. Yeah, Aperture's not around anymore. Remember? I thought you used to use Aperture.
Wait, Lightroom is Aperture?
No. Lightroom is an Adobe product, and Aperture was Apple product.
Oh, but they stopped Aperture.
They did, yeah. So anytime I open up an Aperture library, it wants to move it to Photos. But I already did my export. I already exported all my photos and then re-imported them into Lightroom. But my problem is I've got I need to have a complete list of my like a complete set of my photos sitting somewhere and then a backup somewhere and they say you should have two backups. So one main copy and then two backups.
And then one backup outside of your residence.
Yeah, I mean, I can't put it on like all my photos on a cloud because there's just too many photos. I probably have a terabyte or more of photos. Same thing with my videos. I mean, I've got to organize that because it's just like I was looking for your videos for John for Abajana, and I just was like, where's the wedding stuff that we took? It took me forever, but I had it. I just had it like marked off strangely, and I've got them on. Yeah, probably. I've got hard drives laying around, so I really need to do some work like organizing everything. But I think there's an opportunity for somebody to have there's actually
Capture One also has their own. There's different. Capture One they're trying to get into that archiving business.
Yeah, I really should look at Lightroom. I think Lightroom could work. You can keep like a proxy photo instead of the regular, just point it somewhere.
I talked to you about that. I wanted to create thumbnails where it's just a thumbnail version, and then it just it linked to the original.
Right. I think there's a way to do that in Lightroom. Maybe there's other software. There's so much stuff you can pay for. I'm tired of paying for stuff. That's not a good way to say it, but I probably have different. I've got what do you call it? Not overlapping, but like duplicate types of software that I should just pick one and stick with it. And because I probably have like with Adobe, I do their subscription for $30 a month, and I get all of their apps. But I really didn't want all their apps. All I wanted was Photoshop, Lightroom, Camera Raw, and then After Effects. Oh, I wanted to play with Audition too, but yeah. So
Audition's nice.
Yeah, but I also have Logic Pro, so it's like, do I need both? I don't, but I bought Logic Pro a long time ago, and then it seemed like that's more for music making. I was thinking, what's better for like doing narration and video for audio related to video or podcasting.
I forgot that Lightroom was Adobe because I just assumed that Adobe uses Bridge to archive. But Lightroom is the raw editor, right?
It's a raw editor, and yeah, you can do everything from there. I mean, you can print from there. I've always printed from Photoshop, but yeah, and it does give you, what do they call the handoff to Photoshop pretty nicely. I think. I think everything that's in Camera Raw, everything that's in Bridge, I think you can do in Lightroom. Maybe, I don't know if you can do panoramic. Like I know in Bridge you can take multiple, if you took 3 or 4 photos and then wanted to stitch them together. I know you can do it in Photoshop, but you can definitely do it in Bridge too, and then push it into Photoshop.
So do you have Raw Digger or Fast Raw Viewer?
I don't. I have just Camera Raw and through Bridge and Photoshop.
I'm surprised. I mean, check out Fast Raw Viewer.
And what is just for viewing Raw? Because I have Bridge, or I've got Camera Raw. So why would I need that?
It instantly, you don't have to wait for it to look at it. It'll actually show you Raw. And it'll give you the histogram and give you all the info, like the washed out areas. It's really nice software. And the other one's called Raw Digger.
Is it free?
No, I think it's let me see here. Seriously,
is that what you have?
Raw,
yeah. See, But I'm like,
Fast Raw Viewer and Raw Digger.
I really don't want to pay for stuff that if I can get it done. So unless there's something really. Like Capture One, did you ever use that? I've used it before, and I finally was just like, I don't need it. I'm going to use Photoshop. I don't really need to have.
Wait, what was you cut out there?
Capture One. Have you ever?
Oh yeah. I think I have that. I have an older version.
I did too, but I really don't use it because they went to a subscription, and I did their subscription for a while.
And then the other one is that Google bought that company with the different effects.
But they sold off.
Though. Yeah.
No, they sold it off to DxO. So now if you want it used to be free. Now you have to pay for it. Like my latest version of Photoshop doesn't have it, so I'm not going to I like that suite, but the old plugins don't work in a new version of Photoshop.
It doesn't.
No.
Because I do have some Nick. I've never used it.
Yeah, I used to use them pretty regularly, especially like the silver effects, which for black and white photos, and then some of the to not colorize, but make some of the photos more vivid. And so I used to use their tools, but then I'm not paying another $150 for it again. I paid for it initially, and then it became free, and then now it's under a different company.
Yeah, I hate subscription services, but okay, I'm gonna get going.
All right, enjoy your run.
Okay, thanks. Say hi to Ohm.
Yeah, I will say hi to Madison and Michelle.
I will.
Are you going to see Mom
tomorrow?
You are, okay. Yeah, I think I was talking with Owen because I think we're probably going to be at stay-at-home through the end of the month. So I really want to, before we're done with the stay-at-home, work out of Lombard for like 3 or 4 days. So I think we're going to come in when she's feeling like a little bit better. But so yeah, we'll be there, maybe for like a Thursday through a Monday or Tuesday or something.
Oh, you're going to come for that long?
Yeah, but not like right this moment. I think it could be next weekend because I was trying to see if she would do it this weekend, but she said she would rather just wait a few more days.
Okay. You're going to call Mom tomorrow, right?
Yeah, I'll probably call her tonight and tell her Happy Mother's Day.
Okay, well, thanks.
All right, I will send you. Yep, I'll send you the theme and then do your shoots. Hey, how's it going, Madison? Can she hear me?
No, I got my headphones on.
What are you guys up to other than your run? Are you doing anything today?
No, I've got 2,000 books that I need to. I don't know. I
got to read.
60 books. No, they're in the back and they're along the stairwell. I have to take them all down and to put them into the crawl space. And so half of them they're all inventoried, and
that's good.
They're all inventoried, but they're not all marked on the boxes. So when I take the box, I have to go through the entire box, make sure that I put an inventory number on them, put them back in the box, and then I got to take it downstairs. So it's a slow process. So I know that when I sell a book, I know where it is, because the process now is that I get, you've sold a book, and so usually I can figure out, based on, I have an idea where it is, and then so I got boxes in different areas, and then I start going through it. It's the nightmare scenario when I have absolutely no idea, and I have to go through every single box. And so
but at some point you said you knew you had it because you put it up for sale.
Oh, no. If it's up there, I know I do have it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, it's like you have it because you put it up for sale, but you don't know exactly where it's at, though.
Yeah, so I use Delicious Library. It's a really nice software, and I press a button. It says, and there's an API, and it automatically opens up your Amazon account, and it loads it up, and you say how much you want. Amazon doesn't like it because there are books that I don't want to sell, but I still put up, and I put really high prices, and at some point in time, Amazon says we've deactivated your account because it's not a fair market price.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And but it's interesting. I mean, I'll pick up a book for 50 cents or $1, and I've sold books for $96, $100, $110.
What's the most you ever? So what's the most you ever?
It's interesting that you say that. I just sold one for $250.
How much did you pay for it?
$50, $60.
Okay, yeah, it's good markup then, or good profit on that.
Yeah. And then Amazon takes their cut.
How much?
But then what?
How much is their cut?
I think it's one's 1.5%, and then 5%, and then 15%. So I'd say altogether it's between 20 to 23%.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
they take a lot. Yeah,
well, actually, no. I have to go back and take a look. It keeps changing, but anyway, it's still a lot more than what I've. So I was surprised when that one came through, and I've got some knuckleheads that that say, I want a return authorization. I had one guy in New York who says, you didn't package it correctly. And I said, okay, I'll authorize it, send it back. He sent it to me, and I said, this book isn't the book I sent you, because he said it was water damaged. It was all water damaged book.
Yeah.
And I said, this has an inventory number, control number on it. It's like from a bookstore or something. So I said, I'm sending it back to you. I'm not authorizing it.
Yeah.
Send me the one that I sent you, and I'll authorize the return or authorize the payment. He never sent me. I sent it to him, and I got paid for it. So now I spend all this time taping it and sealing it to make sure that it doesn't happen again. And I know that if it's a $250 book, I add insurance and I add a signature. And I know that certain times I have like the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. So I know if it's a $60 book, I'm still going to pay a few more dollars to have a signature, because I want to make sure that they don't come back and say I never got it or anything.
Yeah, that's the tough part about selling stuff online. You got assholes. I think for the most part, people are legit. But man, for the ones that they know they'll contest it. I mean, if he was just trying to pull one on you and say,
well, he did.
Yeah, but I mean, maybe he made a mistake, because he never came back and when you pushed the issue, right? I mean, he sent you a book, and you're like, this isn't my book that I sent you. Then he left it alone.
Well, it's not the book. It's the same title. It's just not the book that I sent him.
Okay, so he was trying to pull one on you.
Yeah, because he had a waterlogged book that he was just trying to get a new one.
What an asshole. Yeah.
And so now I spend a lot of time wrapping it and making sure that, that's not an issue moving forward. And I was really nervous about that 250 book because I couldn't find a box, and I sealed it. I wrapped foam around it, and then I sealed it again, and then I wrapped a second foam around it, and then I put it in a padded envelope. And I was a little worried that he says, "Why didn't you send it to me in a box?" But no issues. There's a woman in Des Plaines, because I know, it's always interesting. The address is on there, and sometimes it's in Chicago, and one was Des Plaines, and she says, "There's a watermark on this book. I want a return authorization." Sure. A week later, she finally says, "Okay, I'm sending it." But during that time, she ordered another book from me, and so I sent it to her.
Wait,
let
me just ask you: did the other one have a watermark, or is she bullshitting?
I don't recall a watermark.
Okay, so yeah, you didn't think it had, but you're like, okay, maybe it was.
I'm not going to deal with it.
Yeah.
And so the thing is that about a year and a half ago, I started taking photos of all my books, and I'd also go in there and I mark 4 different spaces in a very very small area. I put a dot on the page, so I know that if they try to send it back to me, I know where to look to make sure that they're not trying to send me a different book.
Yeah.
So I take photographs of all the pages that I mark. I take a photo of the front and the back and the inside front and the inside back. And this one, I forgot to do that. And so I said, okay, send it back. And then while I'm waiting for her to send it back to me, she orders another book from me. And then she just has writing in it. Give me another return authorization. And it's 2 books. And then so a week after that, she eventually said, okay, I've sent them. And here are the tracking numbers. The books never came. And I knew that there was something funny because they were the same amount, and one was really light and the other one was really heavy. So Amazon went ahead and paid me, even though I gave her
Did you have
return.
Did you have to dispute it then?
No, she paid. Amazon paid me.
I know, but did she get her money back then? I mean, she wanted.
I don't know. That's.
So she wanted. But she returned them. She said she returned them. They never arrived.
Oh no. Well, she said she sent them, and she said so. I think what happened is I can go ahead and give her money and say, okay, there's two processes. Click one for authorization. That means that all I'm doing is authorizing it, and I can wait until I get the book to actually give
a refund. Did you get paid? But did you get paid for those books at that point?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Well, they
no.
know.
I mean, at that time.
I think it was. There's once. So the process is, and I'll make this quick. Amazon doesn't charge that person's card until I plug in the shipping number. Once that shipping number gets plugged, the money gets drawn.
Okay.
And then I don't get paid. The clock doesn't start ticking until the U.S. Post Office says it's been delivered. And at that point, I think they have a week or 2 weeks to say, I want to return it. So there's always a 2-week lag
before I
get
get
payment.
Okay.
And so I already got paid. I got paid for those 2 books. So whether she disputed it or not,
okay.
I didn't hear back from her.
But okay, so just so I get, so she you sent it to her. When did she after she received them? How long before she said there was an issue with them?
Almost immediately.
Okay.
I think.
And then by the time she actually shipped them was how much time?
Probably a week and a half, 2 weeks
after she received it. So it was right at the thing. Okay. Yeah. So she said she sent them to you. In that case, she would not expect. And she even put
tracking numbers.
Yeah, but okay. Did you? And if you followed the tracking numbers, were they?
I didn't. No, I'm not gonna.
Yeah, you're not chasing them down. They never arrived.
Yeah.
Okay, so she at that point would expect to be refunded from Amazon at some point.
Correct.
But you don't know that she got refunded or not.
I don't know. I mean, because what happens is that she goes on Amazon. She says, I've sent the books. Here are the tracking numbers. And I automatically get an email. It generates an email to me. And I never got anything that says, well, because I'm supposed to press a button. I'm supposed to go on my account and say, okay, I've received the books and I'm pressing the button for a refund. And she's never emailed me. I think she may have said, okay, here are the tracking numbers, assuming, hoping that maybe I'll just go ahead and not want to deal with this and just go ahead and hit the refund.
Right.
And so, because I knew that there was something fishy when they both had $3.30. It's media mail. So you pay actually a little bit less. I get up to $3.99, regardless if it's less or more. I get $3.99 for each book that I mail.
Doesn't matter how big it is then.
Yeah, regardless. Okay. So sometimes it's $3.33 and sometimes it's $7. I get $3.99 on top of the price of the book. But so anyway, make a long story short, I've got all these books. So before I take it down, I just have to some have the numbers on it, like the inventory numbers. Some of them don't. If they don't, I got to go through my Delicious Library software and make sure that I mark it on there and put it in there. And so I'm getting all those books downstairs, and that's
what you're working on today. Then
that's what I'm working on. Happy wife, happy life.
Right. Oh, that's a request then to get that done.
No, it's Mother's Day.
Ah, okay. Here's your present.
I'm kidding.
I'll do the dishes.
Okay, so anyway, I don't know. I to me, I would love to open up a bookstore. It's Michelle's bane of her existence, but I think when I first put in 2016, I think it was 2016 when I sold my first book. It's funny. I know I'll let you go after this. I think it's like Michelle goes, geez. This is just going to prolong it. It's like I was like right on the threshold. Am I going to get rid of all these books, or is he going to keep them? And when I sold that first book, that means he's going to keep them.
Why? If you sell them, that means you're going to sell them.
No. The thing is that it's just my mom was just, no one's going to buy those books.
Tell them why.
No one's.
There's boxes. We can't live in this.
I know. But the thing, so it's like.
But if you ever need to make a fire, you'll have some paper to use.
I know, so it's frustrating. I didn't want to piss her off, but it's frustrating. It's like now it's like, oh my god.
Don't want to piss me off.
I don't want to, because the thing is it's funny because it's like, just get rid of the books. But now the fact that is that it's generating for her, it's not that much. Yeah. It's not worth it. But when you get, I've sold a lot of $50, $60, $90 books.
Not a lot. That's rare.
So it's like Michelle's thinking, oh, he's right on the cusp. He's going to get rid of all these books. But then when she realized that I'm selling books on Amazon.
So it's just going to take longer. She thought you're going to do it in one fell swoop. Is that why?
Yeah, or just get rid of
All right,
completely.
just
So
give them
it's
away
like,
or something.
it's like oh my god, it's like we're done with this, but now it's going to drag on.
Yeah.
It's gonna
Okay.
drag on.
Got it.
But what's funny is Michelle and I were at a garage sale together probably 8 or 9 years ago, and I said, Michelle, I don't have any cash. I want to buy this book, and it was just
I bought it. I want to buy it.
so it was a beautiful. I don't know if you want to look it up. Harley Davidson map book, and it was all these great routes. You should get it. You should get it because it's a great book. It's seriously.
I don't ride a Harley though.
You don't need a Harley.
No.
But it was a beautiful book. Seriously, check it out. And I said, can you get it? And it was $10. We paid $10 for it. My very first book, I got $95 for it.
Yeah, I would
saw,
believe that because there's a lot of writers out there, I'm sure.
When she saw me packing it up, she was livid. She says, I wanted that book. I want that book. And I said, I can't say I have to sell it. I mean, because that's my first book, and if I don't want to start off, you get a demerit. You'll get
Penalized, like pinged or something. Yeah.
Yeah, because you got a book and you're not sending it. I could say, oh, I did. So here is wait, where is it? I had this book. And I actually happen to be about 4 or 5 times.
To your left, yeah. Sistine Secrets.
I had this hardback. I probably paid $1 for it, and I sold it. And Michelle's looking at it, goes, "Are you selling that book? I wanted to read it." And she says, "Just say that you lost it and you can't sell it." I said, "I can't because I'll get penalized. Like I'll get dinged by Amazon." So I went and got the paperback version. And so there are actually about 4 or 5 books where I don't want to sell them.
Then take them off your list.
I don't want to sell them, and it's like I feel bad. So I'll just go and I'll reorder it. Michelle's going to strangle me. She just I know it's only happened a few times, and so there.
Just take them off of your list.
Yeah, and so I Michelle wanted to read this book, so I got it. But
Now, I did not want you to order it. Stop spending money on books.
it was only a few bucks. No, I didn't pay.
It was
listen,
$19.99.
no, I didn't pay $19.99.
You're in the red.
I'm not.
You're in the red.
Yeah, here's another book I sold, and
to the right. Your left, sorry. Writing tools.
It's a pretty interesting book.
How to write.
Yeah, it's just one of the things that I want to become a good writer. Anyway, I'll let you go, man. Thanks.
All right. Have a good run and a lunch. I will send you a text with the topics then, or the themes. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
All right.
I'll talk to you later.
Signing off.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, Joe.